This is my morning routine. My name's Jake and I'm a 32-year-old hairy man who's been able to get into great shape and work on my passions outside of work. Now this routine, it ain't even optimized. It isn't even sensible, but it's my routine. So now I've got my hair tied back. Let's get into it. So I just got out of bed and it is now 5:28 in the morning. And the very first thing that I need to do is feed the cat. Now this is Molly and we actually rescued her recently from being sentenced to death. Her previous owners wanted to put her down just because they were moving house and she had a urinary tract infection. So we took her in and now she lives here. She's been here for about 2 weeks. She's getting quite settled in. She's still a little bit scatty, but the first thing she likes to do in the morning is bug me for food. So now this is part of my morning routine and she follows me straight downstairs for a bit of food. But yes, so this is Molly and she's been saved and we can have a little look at her having a bit of food. So the next thing that I need to do is use the bathroom. Now you don't want to see that, so we'll skip past that, but I'm watching a video as I usually do on the toilet. I don't like to sit there in silence. I like to watch whatever YouTube suggests for me. Now I know I'm a hairy man, but that hair does not keep me warm enough and I need to put an extra layer on. It was just so dark upstairs because it is still 5:30 in the morning and my fiance's still fast asleep. So I just found a hoodie, came straight downstairs, and now I need to quickly put an extra layer on. The hair does not count as a layer. And just before we get started, I want to down some water because water and hydration is very important. So get that water in. Now I'm going to be preparing my breakfast. This is part of my daily ritual and I have the same breakfast every day. So I'm just going to get out all the ingredients I need. And if you want to see exactly what I made, I will put what I made in the description down below. But I'm just raiding my fridge, getting out some blueberries, kefir, and some lactose-free milk for my coffee. Now I'm going to be weighing out some oats. I like to have just over 40 grams of oats. I usually have about 44 grams of oats. Never more than that, otherwise that's just too much carbs first thing in the morning. And I like to saturate that completely in kefir. And kefir is fermented milk and it's good for the microbiome, which is your bacteria in the gut. And then I flood that bowl with blueberries. Now I did this the wrong way round. I usually put the peanut butter in first, but because I set the camera up, I completely forgot to do it. And I like to get 2 big spoonfuls of peanut butter just to get the calories up and some protein in there. Otherwise this meal doesn't have much protein. And now I'm gonna slather cinnamon all over it. No real reason to this other than I like cinnamon. And then I top that off with a big layer of chia seeds, get some healthy omega-3s in the breakfast. And the kettle is going, so we're gonna be making the coffee. So that all took me until 5:51 in the morning to get to the point where I'm about to have breakfast. So now I'm bringing my breakfast into the office where I like to eat every morning. And what I'm gonna do now is actually get my morning supplements out that I keep just below my desk. And if you're interested in seeing the supplements I take, I'll list them down below, but really it's just 4 pills at the moment that I'm gonna be downing after a few mouthfuls of my food. And with my breakfast, I like to do one of 2 things. I either like to get on and do some work in the morning, or I like to sit there and question my life decisions. And today I opted for the latter. And also I like to turn off the light and sit there in the shroud of darkness. So I opted to just watch some YouTube, question my life decisions, and just enjoy having my breakfast. So after watching some YouTube videos, I like to check up on my YouTube channels and check the analytics. Now, none of my videos are performing very well at all, so it sets me up for some negative thinking for the rest of the day. Now that I have breakfast out the way, the sun has actually come up a little bit and I'm not sat there in darkness. So what I'm going to do is retie my hair, which signifies to me that it's time to lock in and start taking the day seriously. So now that I'm ready, I've got my hair tied back, I'm actually going to start tidying my desk because the clutter seems to get me distracted and I like to work in a clean and tidy environment. Because if I don't force myself to clean my desk, it just becomes messier and messier until I'm sat there in a complete and total tip. So today I'm going to take initiative and start cleaning it before it gets too out of hand. And Molly was just sat outside the office having a nice little clean and she's looking very fluffy and smart today. With the office looking a little bit fresher, I can get started doing some scripting on my various YouTube videos and have my second coffee of the day. I like to have all of my coffee and caffeine ingested before 8:30 in the morning, and that means when it comes to bedtime later, all that caffeine's going to be out of my system and I'll find going to sleep much easier. After a bit of scripting and researching, it is now 7:43 in the morning and my bowels are telling me it's time to go back to the toilet. So again, you don't want to see that, but here's me going in and out of the bathroom and feeling hell of a lot emptier. I'm feeling a little bit fresher and emptier, and with breakfast beginning to digest, it's time to do a bit of exercise. I often go to the gym, but today I'm going to be doing this at home with my home gym setup, and I'm going to be deciding to do some legs. And I'm aiming just to have a small session here, no longer than 20 minutes, because I've already been going to the gym pretty much every day and my body is absolutely knackered. And I like to keep my gym equipment in a way that it's very easy to set up, so there's no barrier to starting. Because I found if it's complicated in any way, I just don't do it. So I keep my gym set up easy to access at all times, so I can get started and get exercising within minutes. And I found if there's anything that you want to do consistently, just make it as easy as possible for you to get out there and do it. And so because I decided that I'm going to be doing some squats, and that's legs today, I'm going to be wearing these knee sleeves, mostly because my knees have been pretty dodgy. I've got a bit of a case of old man clicky knee syndrome now, so I like to wear these just to make my knees feel a little bit safer, even if they are just a little bit unnecessary. And after setting everything up, it is now 8:10 in the morning, and I've got to do a little bit of stretching. It looks a little bit crazy on the camera, but I like to swing my legs around and get the hip just a little bit warm before I do any of this, and then it's time to get under the bar. So this is about as much warming up as I like to do. It's really not the most comprehensive warm up, but I just do some squats with the bar, shake those legs around as you saw, and then it's time to add some weight. And I like to just go straight up to 60 kilograms here. That's just one 20 kilo plate on each side. And this is enough for me to get the squats going. Now, like I said, I wanted to keep this a quick session, so I'm going to be going up in weight relatively quickly. So with the weight loaded up to 80 kilos, I got my workout underway, and this included front squats and back squats. But overall, it was only about 3 or so sets, and that was it for the day. All I wanted was to get the movement through my body and some weight and resistance into my legs and leave it at that. And after that session, I'm going to down even more water because, like I said earlier, hydration is key. So with all that being said, it is now 8:30 in the morning and I'm currently at 1,258 footsteps. And that's important because I'm going for a walk just to get that number up. Back from my nice walk, and it did get pretty warm walking as fast as I was. So after that walk, it is now 9:20 and I got my footsteps up to 6,849. And now you're going to find out why some people call me a hobbit, because hobbits have second breakfast. And now it's time for my second breakfast. And my second breakfast usually consists of lots of vegetables and some meat. And I'm going to be putting that down in the description, everything that I eat, again, if you're interested in making this for yourself. But essentially, it's just lots of vegetables chopped up into a bowl and mixed with meat. So one thing I've been trialing with my second breakfast is actually adding sauerkraut, and that is a fermented food, which is actually cabbage that's been fermented. It's got good, healthy bacteria in it that your gut can feed on. I like to try and load this breakfast up with as many vegetables as I can handle, just to get as many vitamins and minerals into my body as possible. I also like to get as many healthy fats as I can, so I've added an avocado, and now I'm adding cashew nuts as well. And you can't forget the salt. Salt's actually very important. So I recently got this cast iron pan because I wanted to stop using non-stick pans and just use a pan with no coating over it. So what I do is actually use quite a lot of butter to lubricate the bottom, and then I add my meat on top of that. And I like to try and get that coated in as much butter as I can so it doesn't stick, and then just completely cover it in garlic and trap the heat in there with the lid. I've been using the lid lately because it allows me to put the heat on a lower temperature whilst keeping the meat cooking at a relatively fast pace. And I'm just chucking a bunch of kale in there. I hate kale, to be honest with you, but I like to wilt it down to make it easier to eat. I'm literally only eating this kale purely for the vitamins. And to top that all off, I'm going to be grating hard cheese over it because it's high in vitamins as well. And I'm going to be squeezing a nice lemon over it. There's no real reason to add in the lemon other than I just like it. So now we have that, I'm back in the office with the food, and it's time once again to question my life decisions. I do think I added just a little bit too much sauerkraut to this meal today. There was a lot of fermented juices at the bottom of the meal. Next time I'm not going to be putting quite so much sauerkraut into that that meal. So now I've got my second breakfast sorted out. I'm going to be doing just a little bit more scripting and work at the computer while I've got the time. And Molly was just chilling upstairs and she's looking very fluffy. So now I'm going to end my morning routine with brushing my teeth and getting all fresh, and then I'm going to be going to work. And again, if you're interested in the foods that I ate during my morning routine, I will link the ingredients that I put in my foods down below, just in case you want to try them for yourself. And pretty much this is what I do day in, day out. It's been helping me get exercise in, it's been helping me work on my side projects, and it sets me up well to have a good day when I go to work as well. So thank you for joining me with my morning routine, and I'll see you in the next video.